All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video after the Niners lose Super Bowl 58 to the Chiefs in agonizing fashion. Of course, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Also, our Vegas trip was sponsored by Sharp Corners Sports Goods, and Collectibles there at 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove, California. Give Anthony Catania a call at 831-521-5264. We're also brought to you by Valley Hill Roofing.net. They're at 209-481-6851, and the website links for both companies are listed in the description. Well, man, that one is another tough loss in Niner history as the Niners lose the Super Bowl 25-22. And, what can you say? I mean, Brock Purdy played pretty damn good football, really. He led the 49ers on a drive in overtime that started at their own 25-yard line, but he had to settle for a Jake Moody field goal to go up 22-19, and that meant that the dreaded scenario that I think everybody had envisioned at some point, which was Patrick Mahomes with the game on the line, with the ball in his hands, and a chance to control the impact the outcome of the game. And right now, this is the Patrick Mahomes era, and he was fantastic. He ran for a first down on 4th and 1 to extend the drive from their own 33-yard line. He found MVS on 2nd and 14 for a nice play to make it 3rd and 7. They moved down the field, and eventually Mahomes on 3rd and 7 from the 10, or 3rd and whatever it was, Mahomes found Mecole Hardman for the game winner, 25-22. So, it's 455 total yards for Kansas City against the 49er defense. But, there's a couple mistakes. Obviously the muff punt hurt the 49ers. A ball went off of Darrell Luter's foot, and that obviously hurt. The missed PAT obviously hurt. Without the missed PAT, the whole fourth quarter would have been played differently. So it's impossible to say exactly what would have happened, but the muff punt and the missed PAT definitely were killers for the Niners. Purdy goes 22 of 38 for 255, a touchdown, only sacked once, so the O-line did a pretty good job. Christian McCaffrey, 22 carries for 80 yards, 3.6 a carry. He had also had 8 catches for 80 yards and a touchdown. McCaffrey was left bruised and bloodied. He had a tremendous game. Niners had 39 passes, 31 runs. They ran for 3.6 a carry. Ayuk had 3 catches for 49 yards. Jennings had a huge day. 4 catches, 42 yards, and a touchdown. Juwan Jennings played fantastic, but the Niners lost 2 fumbles. Fred Warner had 13 tackles for the Niners. Jair Brown, 11 tackles and an interception. We had that one pegged for sure, but the muff punt, the missed PAT, and just they could not stop Mahomes at the end. Patrick Mahomes, 34 of 46, 333 yards, 2 touchdowns, the 1 interception, 9 carries, though, for 93 yards, or I should say 9 runs for 61 yards or 64 yards. So he had good running night. For Kelsey, he had 9 catches for 93 yards, 8 of them in the fourth quarter. He came alive. He had a huge second half. I should say 8 in the second half. He had 1 catch in the first half. He had 8 in the second half. What can you say? The Niners held Pacheco down. He had 59 yards on 18 carries. So, 3 a carry. That's nothing to be, nothing to be concerned about. That's a pretty good number. But at the end, it's just, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs were just a little bit better, a little bit cleaner game. You got to make your PATs. You got to make, you can't muff punts. You can't have a muff punt on special teams and a missed PAT. That really hurt. The 49er defense overall, 455 total yards. That's just an awful lot of yards for sure, and that needs to be better. But, man, as far as Purdy, I think he showed in the overtime drive what kind of a player he can be. with that third down slant to Ayuk to extend that drive from their own 30-yard line in overtime to moving it down the field, and then ultimately, he had to throw it away on 3rd and 9 from the 9, and they had to settle for the Jake Moody field goal. And you felt right there, like, okay, they got the lead, but you know what, Mahomes, they're still going to have to stop Mahomes. And you were just hoping that maybe they would fall behind the sticks. Maybe he would throw a ball that got tipped into the air and there would be an interception. Maybe the Niner defense could rush him and get a big stop. Maybe there'd be a holding penalty against Bosa and, Kansas City would fall behind the chains. But no, he drove the ball. He drove them all the way from their 25-yard line. Pacheco on a 3-yard run. Mahomes went to Rice. Pacheco got stuffed on 3rd and 1, but then Mahomes ran for a first down on 4th and 1. Then he went to MVS, and MVS ran backwards for -4, so they got into a hole again. But, he went to MVS for 7 on 2nd and 14. He went to, I thought one of the interesting calls was he went to Rashee Rice on 3rd and 7, and the Niners blitzed, and it's like, why would you blitz there? That just didn't seem like a good idea to blitz. They picked up a first down. Pacheco then went for a 4-yard run. Then Mahomes threw it to Pacheco for 5 yards. Then Mahomes ran on 3rd and 1. Pacheco got stuffed to make it 2nd and 7 on first down. Mahomes went to Kelsey for a couple yards on 3rd and 7, and then he went to McCole Hardman for the game winner on the touchdown, 25-22, and the 49ers again lose the Super Bowl. 3rd time. Niners are now 4-3 in Super Bowls. They won the first 4. They've now lost 3 in a row. This one's obviously very painful. All of them are. There's no question about it. It was they did a lot of good things in this game. They seemed to move the ball at will on Kansas City's defense. It wasn't like they were overwhelmed by Kansas City's defense, but they couldn't stop Mahomes on the final drive. They had too many mistakes on special teams with the muff punt and the missed PAT. Greenlaw going out early was a real, that definitely hurt. It's like 49ers lost a lot of good run defenders in the offseason. They're going to have to go, rejuvenate their entire defense. There's going to be 5 or 6 defensive linemen that are going to wind up leaving. They just leaned so heavily on the run defense side on Greenlaw and Fred Warner. And it's just, it's asking a lot of those two guys. And then Greenlaw today goes down with the Achilles. And it's funny, I asked Greenlaw a couple days ago in Vegas about how you feeling, how's the body feeling, and hey, you feeling good? And he, without really saying it, he was like, he kind of knew that, he was, his Achilles was dangling by a thread, and he wasn't feeling very good. And he just was like, hey, it's one game. We got to get to the finish line. But you could kind of tell that the body was pretty beaten up, and he just didn't want to admit it. So the Niners lose Greenlaw early. Debo went out in this game. Kittle went out in this game. Now, they both came back, but they were, super beat up. And still the 49ers found a way to drive the field and get a field goal. But they gave Mahomes a chance to drive the length of the field for the game-winning touchdown. And sure enough, he did. So the Chiefs get the 25-22 win. Rough loss for the Niners. We're going to talk about it next on the post-game show on YouTube on the Krug Show. Kev will be along, Danny, Baller, Rye, probably JD, maybe Damon. Should be a pretty good cast. Final show of the football season. Niners lose the Super Bowl 25-22. And thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to our Vegas Week sponsors as well. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show, which starts momentarily on YouTube.